Hello. Well, here we are, the first Sunday of Advent. We're past Black Friday, and that means that Christmas shopping is underway. Advent, especially Advent in church, is a time for us to get our bearings. It's a time to gather our thoughts, a time to remind us of the season's reason. Most likely, these times should be both encouraging and convicting. Why convicting, you might say? Well, because it's very easy to get caught up in all of the holiday madness. A few weeks ago, while at Chick-fil-A, I greeted a couple seated at a booth by the windows. And it was during a few of those cloudy, those muggy days that we were having. The sun hadn't been out that day yet, and for a couple of days. And as usual, I asked them if there was anything I could get them while they were there. And the wife said, "How about some light?" as she looked out the window. "Could you talk to someone about that?" she asked. I told her I'd see what I could do. So I walked away, and as I do a lot of times, as I'm cleaning tables and putting some trash away and doing that sort of thing, I began to pray, "Lord, how can I respond? What can I say, And so I went back after a while, and I told her that I had talked to somebody, and that I was informed that light would be coming. It was on the way. That's the whole point of Advent, right? We know that something special, something illuminating is on the way. Darkness has a real effect on people, physiologically, emotionally, psychologically. Darkness has a genuine, real effect on people. And of course, that's why, the phrase has been called the dark nights of the soul, right? Those dark times, or we go through dark times, and we have all of these sayings in which darkness is symbolic of sometimes depression, anguish, suffering, pain, that sort of thing. Those times in life that are very trying and lonely, we describe them as dark. Well, the Christmas season, however, is a season of lights, isn't it? Christmas stories and movies are full of lights being hung. Well, now you don't have to go out and put that many lights, of course, on your house and yard. The song "O Holy Night" is going to be a theme that I'm going to be using during this particular Advent season. It was written in the mid-1800s. I'll share a little bit about that next week. But for the first week of Advent, we're going to focus on that very first line and the title of the carol, "O Holy Night." It was night. It was dark. Jesus came in the dark. And not just at night, not just being born in physical darkness, but a dark world. And the world had been dark for a long time. And the world in which Jesus entered, in the world in which the incarnation happened, was a dark world. Not just a dark night. It was a dark world. And it still is. You and I live in a dark world. But that doesn't mean that we are without the light. The evil, violent, unjust, sin-filled world is what we live in. We could also call the world night. It's referred to that in the Bible. Our passage from Romans today confirmed it. Romans 13, 11 through 14. "And do this, understanding the present time. The hour has come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. The night is nearly over. The day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. Isaiah's passage also spoke of a time of peace, a time when weapons of war would be turned into tools for agriculture. Psalm 122 spoke of the peace of Jerusalem. You know, scriptures about peace and love and joy and hope, you know, those traditional themes of Advent, they're wonderful. But we look around and we don't see peace, do we? We see violence. We all know that weapons are not being turned into tools for agriculture right now. In fact, in parts of the world, tools for agriculture are most likely being turned into weapons. So the joy and the peace and the love and the hope that we talk about during Advent, those are wonderful things, and we long for those things. And we believe that Christ has brought those things, that God has brought those things to us through Christ, through the incarnation. But for now, we still live in a dark world. That eternal day of peace is not here yet. We still live in the dark. But again, it doesn't mean that we, even though we are in the dark, it does not mean we are without the light. John chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Isaiah's message from the Lord is one of hope and peace, but however, you and I still live in the dark. It was at night, fittingly, that Jesus was born, that God came to earth. Unexpectedly, surprisingly, and without fanfare, except for a few shepherds. It was into the darkness that Christ was born. It was into the darkness that Christ came. It was into the darkness that Jesus lived. It was into the darkness that came light. It is in the darkness that you and I live. What I'd like for you to do on this first Sunday of Advent, as you think about the darkness and the world in which we live, never forget about the light. When you drive around and you see the Christmas lights through town, through your city, when you hang your lights on your tree or your house and you see all of these wonderful lights, remember, the light is in this dark world. And you, as a follower of Christ, are to help illuminate this dark world. Never forget about the light. Never forget that you are a bearer of the light. Never forget that you are to be a light in this dark world in which we live. There will be a day of peace. There will be a day in which darkness has no place. There will be no more tears. There will be no more sorrow. But that day is not yet. It is yet to come. Yet in our dark world, your dark world, we have light. And that will happen because of what happened one holy night. I'm going to place a link to a video of O Holy Night. Each week, I will present a video of that carol, O Holy Night. This one is by Celtic Worship. So you can click on the link and listen to that song or watch that particular video if you'd like. O Holy Night. God bless you. Have a wonderful Advent. And let's